Judge, can you hear me? Oh, okay.
We don't need this, Blake Lively. Please. There are real women, by the way, who are being... I want you to understand this. There are real survivors of women who did nothing, were walking to their car and a stranger, and that's what makes me angry.
Ryan Reynolds has asked a judge to dismiss him from the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit, saying that there are no legal grounds for any claim against him.
Ryan Reynolds filed a motion to dismiss, asking the judge to remove him from the Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit. He said, "Judge, I want out."
Introduction. A federal judge doesn't just storm out of his own courtroom every day, yet that's exactly what happened when Blake Lively's lawyers tried to drag California's survivor speech statute into a New York defamation showdown. One furious exit turned a niche industry dispute into front-page drama and exposed the power couple's real obsession: controlling the narrative at any cost.
Ryan Reynolds and his attorney filed a motion to dismiss, asking the judge to let him out of the lawsuit, the counterclaim that Justin Baldoni has filed against Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively.
From that moment on, every motion, headline, and whisper in the hallway became a clue to how Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively built a PR fortress. Then watch the walls begin to crumble. Stay with me, because every twist in this story makes the last one look tame. The spark was struck in December 2024, when Blake filed a harassment complaint on the West Coast and weeks later sued Justin Baldoni in the Southern District of New York. He punched back hard, demanding $400 million and accusing her, and by extension, husband Ryan Reynolds, of an orchestrated smear. Suddenly, a rom-com star, a Marvel icon, and an indie director were squaring off under the same fluorescent courtroom lights. Judge Lewis Liman warned all three to quit playing to the tabloids or face a fast-track trial. Instead of cooling down, they doubled the spectacle: dueling press releases, leaked affidavits, and live-tweeted docket drops. The legal file turned into Netflix for law nerds, and everyone watching realized this wouldn't be settled quietly.
The perfect idea of how vicious this truly has become behind the scenes.
Then Blake's attorneys unveiled their secret weapon: Assembly Bill 933, a 2023 California statute designed to shield survivors who speak publicly about abuse. Their argument? Because Blake first voiced her claim in Los Angeles, the New York judge should honor California's fast dismissal protections and fee-shifting rules. The logic might have dazzled on the red carpet, but in federal court, it went over like a lead balloon.
Blake, you have got to behave yourself going forward, because your case is crumbling.
Liman reportedly muttered that state lines are not a vibe, and when Blake's team filed a second, almost pleading letter, he walked out. Two advocacy groups and a headline-friendly women's rights lawyer marched in with supporting briefs, insisting a denial would silence victims everywhere. Critics instantly tagged the maneuver as law shopping.
We don't need this, Blake Lively. Please. There are real women, by the way, who are being... I want you to understand this. There are real survivors of women who did nothing, were walking to their car and a stranger, and that's what makes me angry.
Pick the statute that flatters your story, ignore the one that governs the zip code you're standing in, and call it progress. If that gambit felt brazen, Ryan Reynolds answered with colder calculus. In March 2025, he filed a motion to dismiss himself from Baldoni's counterclaim, arguing that being a spouse doesn't make him a co-conspirator. If Liman agrees, Ryan's 9-figure fortune, built on aviation gin, Mint Mobile, and 3 Deadpool films, becomes a castle no verdict against Blake can breach.
Ryan Reynolds filed a motion to dismiss, asking the judge to remove him from the Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit. He said, "Judge, I want out."
Ryan Reynolds has asked a judge to dismiss him from the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively lawsuit, saying that there are no legal grounds for any claim against him. So Ryan Reynolds doesn't think it's fun anymore and he wants out. Hi, my name is Nigel Burns.
Asset protection lawyers applauded the move as textbook, while commentators roasted it as the slickest good luck honey in Hollywood history. Either way, the filing reframed the case. Blake was now the sole lightning rod for a lawsuit big enough to wipe out her entire net worth 4 times over.
And you're both narcissists and you just want to take a movie. Shame on you. We're seeing this through the end.
While court clerks stamped paper, something stranger unfolded in the press. Major outlets that usually feast on celebrity scandal turned eerily quiet. The New York Times printed one wire blurb. Variety tucked updates under festival coverage. And network talk shows spent more airtime on cosplay then on a $400 million counterpunch. Media watchers smelled coordinated silence, especially when Taylor Swift's briefly rumored subpoena disappeared from digital archives almost overnight.
That friendship isn't just a little bit under strain, it's well and truly done and dusted. If Taylor Swift is being threatened with having years of her private text messages released, that's pretty down and dirty.
On Twitter, side-by-side screenshots circulated. Glowing profiles of "It ends with us" opposite blank space where lawsuit coverage should be. Fans started asking who benefits when newsrooms look away, and whether the same survivor speech law can be wielded as a branding weapon. Industry backlash arrived another way. Doors quietly closed.
As you know, Ryan Reynolds did 2 Deadpool movies prior to this one, and he didn't get along with the director. Tim Miller has been out there saying that he doesn't want to work with Ryan Reynolds again because he was so controlling. So this person who sent me this email said that Ryan Reynolds finally met his match in Sean Levy.
Vogue's May 2025 power couples list omitted Blake and Ryan for the first time in a decade. Met Gala invitations landed without their names, stripping the former Queen of the Steps of her signature carpet moment. Brand strategists began calling them PR poison. Too risky to dress, sponsor, or cast while motions flew. Rumors spread that film insurers demanded tight morality clauses before greenlighting new projects.
Well, this does not look good for Blake Lively because she is refusing to participate in a neutral third-party investigation into her claims of harassment. Now, we already know both Wayfair and Sony have gone on record saying that Blake Lively never filed any HR complaints throughout production.
Every closed deal amplified the sense that Hollywood's golden pair had turned radioactive, and the silence around their case no longer looked like respect. It looked like avoidance.
Blake Lively's side wants to retaliate. I mean, this is just this battle. It was over nothing. They started a fight over something that they should have just allowed to die down. The story would have been done in a week or two.
Meanwhile, survivors' advocates felt betrayed. Elsie Dorsey, a lawyer who'd personally gone bankrupt defending her own truth against a retaliatory lawsuit, filed a blistering brief. She warned that if celebrities co-opt AB 933 to dodge legitimate defamation claims, real victims could lose the shield entirely. Her story contrasted viciously with Blake's. Dorsey spent years fighting alone, while Blake's legal team flew in activist endorsements like celebrity swag bags. Online survivors echoed the anger. If a red carpet regular can bend a brand new law to her advantage, what happens to everyone else when courts see the statute as another publicity gimmick?
When everybody is achieving this fake victimhood, is that it makes nobody believe the real victims. And there are tons of them. There are tons of women who have survived.
Psychologists observing from the sidelines diagnosed the couple with classic covert narcissism, public charm, private control, and an unshakable conviction that they're the aggrieved party no matter how the facts read. They're Hollywood flying monkeys. Directors owed favors, influencers angling for cameos, dutifully liked, shared, and defended. One leaked email even joked that loyalty could earn a day player role in Sean Levy's next streaming hit. The dynamic was toxic. Fandom meets professional quid pro quo.
As you may know, Sean Levy was directing Deadpool vs. Wolverine with Ryan Reynolds. So why did Blake Lively thank him in the end credits at It Ends With Us?
And every new leak strengthened the impression that this lawsuit is less about justice and more about narrative choreography. All eyes now turn to the calendar. In mid-June, Judge Liman will decide 2 pivotal questions. First, does California's survivor shield leapfrog 2,400 miles to protect Blake in Manhattan? If he says no, she must fight the defamation claims on evidence, not advocacy copy. Second, does Ryan walk away today and leave his wife to fend for herself at trial? A yes would firewall hundreds of millions, but it would also cement the perception that Ryan's nice guy brand stops where his balance sheet begins. No matter how the judge rules, the ripple effects will be brutal.
There are people who have been by their fathers, who survived things in their homes and come out of it. And you diminish their stories when you're just like a flippant, arrogant, C-list actress who married another person who's arrogant and flippant.
A denial of AB 933 could chill genuine survivors, because defendants everywhere would cite Lively versus Baldoni as proof that survivor speech laws invite abuse. A green light, on the other hand, might encourage every celebrity with a shaky allegation to race for the friendliest statute, turning victimhood into a preemptive marketing strategy. The Reynolds decision could rewrite celebrity asset planning, add motion to dismiss spouse to the crisis PR playbook, right next to Notes app apology and spiritual retreat photo op. For Blake and Ryan, the fallout is already scorched earth. Brands are ghosting, A-list peers are whispering, and once adoring headlines now read like obituaries for a reputation.
What I make of this is another Meghan Markle. There are receipts. Be careful what you say, be careful what you do. Because if you go and accuse someone of not having the proper intimacy coordinator on set because they're trying to, freestyle it, then you can't do the same thing to your male co-star. Again, I know a lot of people compare her to Amber Heard, but to me, this is a Meghan Markle move where she accuses someone of doing something that we know she's done previously. You're a bully, I'm a bully, etc.
Ryan's sarcasm on social media earns polite chuckles at best. Blake's Vogue-approved feminism feels hollow next to allegations that her entire case rests on an unverified hair-sniffing anecdote. Each new filing drips over Instagram like acid, eating through the curated veneer of couple goals perfection. Yet the most explosive chapter lies ahead. If Liman refuses the AB 933 leap, discovery begins. Depositions, phone logs, on-set security footage, and possibly the very text threads where publicists workshopped hashtags. Under oath, PR glitter means nothing. If he grants the motion, Baldoni could appeal, dragging the fight into the Second Circuit and re-spotlighting every untested claim for another year. Either path guarantees months of fresh bombshells, each more damaging than the last. So watch closely. Hollywood's shiniest facade is cracking, and the story is no longer theirs to script. A judge's patience has snapped, advertisers are fleeing, and the public has swapped popcorn for pitchforks. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds once wrote the rules of charming coupledom. Now they're the cautionary tale. Proof that perfect images shatter under the slightest tap of real scrutiny. The next motion could bury them or resurrect them, but one thing is certain. This time, no amount of witty tweets or couture gowns will distract from the evidence on the record. Keep your notifications on, because the verdict on their empire isn't just coming. It's already echoing through every empty brand deal and every silent red carpet.